Oh yay. I can't wait to see how my team is gonna hurt me again this year. Can't wait for the draft. Levante David's never gonna retire, so we don't even need to draft a linebacker. We should draft a linebacker though. Honestly, I'm just gonna enjoy every second of this draft because the upcoming QB battle between Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones, it's gonna hurt me. I just want someone who can catch the ball. Running back. Give me a running back. Honestly, after this offseason, I actually have some optimism this year. So I'm excited to see how my team's gonna ruin that. You mean I actually have to pay attention to the draft this year? Usually we just win a Super Bowl, so I don't care. Well, only one more day to see how Howie is gonna fleece the rest of the league. As is tradition. Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter. Please, Giants, just do the right thing. Is it possible to draft a new owner? Trust me, if it was possible, we would have done it years ago. Also, it's really weird to have expectations now. Everyone awaits what the 3-time off-season champions are going to do. But seriously, can we actually just be good this year finally? Because I'm so tired of getting my hopes up and then I don't know what's going to be worse, Packers fans, when we steal your draft crushes once again, or the fact that you think you're actually going to throw a better draft than we did. Oh, Detroit. We have more beer and cheese than you could possibly muster. The only thing I'm worried about with this draft is actually how we're gonna draft. Please don't screw it up. Yeah, the draft is important and everything, but can we fast forward to the part where JJ McCarthy is really good and we win a Super Bowl? Please and thank you. In case I don't like the draft pick, flag. My expectations are so low. I have to be happy after this week, right? Right? Okay, this is the year. This is actually the year that we draft an edge rusher. I swear to God, if it's another quarterback. Is this the week where my team actually gives me something to be happy about? Please, Jerry. Honestly, this is the best I have felt in years. We're not the worst team in the league. Bryce Young is looking good, and yeah, I think things are working out. I just jinxed it, didn't I? Draft all the O-linemen. No, give me all the offensive linemen. By the way, does anyone want Kirk Cousins? Still available. Kirk Cousins, anyone for Kirk Cousins? I just hope by the end of the week, if people are upset with the Cardinals, it's because they picked the wrong Pope and not the wrong draft pick. I don't know what I'm more excited for, picking in the first round again, or Aaron Donald coming out of retirement to lead us to another Super Bowl. Okay, there's like no way we can mess this up, right? What's the point of drafting anyone? They're just gonna leave you in a few years in free agency. I don't think my team could hurt me any more than they already have, so yay draft. Hey, if there's anyone on the draft board that doesn't force us to score 45 points a game, that'd be great. I have no doubts that we're gonna do well in this draft. Where I do have doubts is after the regular season. You know, in the playoffs, at least I know that however our draft goes, the rest of our division's gonna be a complete disaster. He's not wrong. I'm a simple man, and I just want an offense that doesn't make me cry every week. Please just save me from Aaron Rodgers. Please. Hey, sorry, this is not the usual couch and setup. We're in Green Bay for the draft, which means that I had a suitcase filled with 32 jerseys, so subscribe. Please.
What?
My underwear's in there.
Oh boy. I can't.
The following is a presentation from Bleacher Brothers.
You're talking to the Rolex.
Diamond ring.
Hit stealing. Woo. Wheeler dealing. Limousine right.
Bottles and bitches believe me back in business. The shit I be smoking is highly recommended. This all of my niggas pushing the limit. Mile high got me.
Oh, good times, good times, good times, good times.
We're not getting Ashton Genty. Go ahead and let that dream die. Why does Mel Kiper keep mocking us Amari and Hampton? Maybe if we move back, I can see us taking Amari and Hampton. We need to get T-Mac. He's the best receiver available. I'm Team Matthew Golden. I'm Team Matthew Golden if we move back. See, you took that picture of Jerry Jones. It could be a misdirection. I'm just happy Micah showed up to OTA. We're not trading Micah. Stop. Hear me out. We trade back and we get Luther Bird in the third. Watch us take Shadur Sanders. Can you imagine? If the Giants draft a quarterback, I will laugh so hard. I just need the Eagles to have a bad draft for once. Watch us move down. No, we need to trade up for Jalen Walker. Always take the BPA. I need a Will McClay masterclass this year. We can't miss this draft. I swear if we take a tight end early, I'm gonna riot. Tyler Warren is a different story though. He's built different. He could be our running back too. We stay put, we drop Michael Williams. Why would we draft a running back early if this class is deep at running back? I still think we can trade up and get Travis Hunter. We do need a cornerback. I don't care if Will Johnson didn't run the 40. What if T-Mac and Genty are available at 12? I don't know about Shamar Stewart. Like the production's just not there. I like Trayvon Henderson in the second. Did he take an official visit? Easier to get a wide receiver 2 in the first round than the second round. Why would we drop Cam Scatabo when we have Hunter Lipke? People are gonna be mad, but watch us go O-line in the first. We gotta replace Zach Martin somehow. Are we ever gonna pay Micah? Do we know when DeMarvion Overshone's gonna be ready to go? We need Agent Zero. CeeDee Lamb needs a legit wide receiver too. He hasn't had one since Amari Cooper. Joe Milton is not competing with Dak for the starting role. This is why no one takes you serious. As long as we don't draft the Taco Charlton when a TJ Watt's on the board, we'll be fine. Need the draft to get here already. Like, life without football is no life at all. This sucks. Like, what am I doing? I'm a grown man.
Oh my God. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a special edition of The Aftermath. I am Captain Taz Ford, and I'm actually in a little bit of a shock. If you had been paying attention on social media, me and my special guests have been pretty much butting heads about things outside of football, but I couldn't figure out in my head that you guys just drafted quite arguably one of the best running backs in the country, and y'all actually played it smart. So I had to bring him here, and I was hoping that maybe he kind of want to throw some smoke out there, and lo and behold, ladies and gentlemen, the smooth operator himself, Mr. Sin City, Mr. Vegas Vaginal Disruptor. Yes, I just went there. Mr. Don Juan. Don Juan, happy Raider Day to you. Wait, I'm not hearing you. None. Nah. See, this is why we do soft openings. We do it Vegas style. We do soft openings. We've had this problem before. I've had this problem a lot of times. I'd say check the headset and check the stick at the bottom. If you're not seeing that little speaker thing kind of fly up every now and again, it could be that. I had to run through it at least 2 or 3 times. However, while Don Juan is getting his audio taken care of, let's take a look at yesterday's draft. This is a little segment we call Good News, Bad News, and it's got some stank on it. So, here's how round 1 turned out, folks. This is how round 1 turned out for, well, let's just see. Let's just say there was a lot of trades, there was a lot of movements, but the 1 and 2 pretty much went exactly as we expected it to go. Cam Ward, number 1 pick of the draft, goes to the Titans. Travis Hunter via Cleveland chose not to get Travis Hunter, so chose to trade at the last minute. There he is. Trade at the last minute for Travis Hunter, who is now a Jaguar, which means that Trevor Lawrence has some good arsenal of offense, and that defense might even be pretty eruptive itself. Should be interesting. But the Browns got that. They decided to flip around with Jacksonville. They took Jacksonville's number 5 pick. They went after Mason Graham. And of course, we have to talk about the Cowboys. Tyler Booker is now the latest Cowboy. Michael Williams actually went prior to him, new edge rusher for the 49ers. But the big story out of this top 10 was the fact that Not Cam Ward going number 1, because we figured it was going to be Ward or Sanders or Shedeur Sanders. We figured Travis Hunter was going to be right up there, either at number 2 or number 3. The big story out of this one, after all the years of the disappointment that Raider Nation felt with the number 6 pick in last night's NFL draft, the Vegas Raiders selected Ashton Jeanty out of Boise State, which brings you into the equation, my dude. How do you feel about having Jeanty in the black and silver?
There were 2 running. They had to get a running back. You can't be
True.
like 32nd and whatever they've been the past few years, after letting Jacobs get out the door. So I was looking at, I've seen enough games of Jeanty. He's legit. His numbers, and again, granted it's college, his numbers after first contact are incredible. He's got solid low build. He's got good explosion, good change of direction, a lot like, Saquon Barkley. The only issue for the Raiders is, can they build a good enough offensive line in order to give this kid some holes to work with? Because that's been their biggest problem. They've got decent running backs. Even when Jacobs was here, in spite of the one season he had, a lot of times they couldn't block long enough for him to get even up to the line of scrimmage, let alone get beyond it. So I see the Raiders in this draft, when they get to the second round and they have multiple picks in the following rounds, they're going O-line. They got to build that up. And they made some good moves. And truth be told, bringing in Pete Carroll and what's the offensive coordinator's name? I can't think of it off the top of my head. Chip Kelly. Those are good, solid moves. And oh, by the way, having Tom Brady kind of hanging around, just another, pair of eyes to kind of overlook some of these decisions. I think they're on the right track. Do I think they make the playoffs next year? It's a tough division. I kind of doubt it. I'm just looking for progress. I'm just looking for competitiveness game to game, particularly with the offense and a decent defense. After that, nobody knows. But keep in mind, this is the third year that the Raiders have changed coaches and GMs. So sometimes you got to get some stability in here somehow. And again, after matriculating through USC, I trust Pete Carroll. He's going to be great. I don't know, but he's not going to be Josh McDaniels, and he won't be, unfortunately, Antonio Pierce, who I kind of like. You got to get an X's nose guy out there, and a guy that's going to keep players focused on executing plays and winning games. So I'm optimistic they're going to be better. But this kid, Jeanty, man, he, barring injury.
You guys got to steal. You guys, honestly, you guys got to steal with Jeanty. For Jeanty to drop down to 6, for him to be dropping all the way down to 6 and being available, that was huge for you guys.
Well, and I'm like everybody else. I'm watching all the mock drafts. I'm getting panicky because the last mock draft I saw from, I can't remember who it was, had Jeanty going number 5, I think, to the Jaguars. Yeah. I'm thinking, shit, how'd they find out? But then I'm watching on draft night, when they go up to get Travis Hunter, I'm thinking, we're good. We are good. Because I knew what the Browns were going to do. They were going for more defense, and this guy was going to be available. But yeah, he could be, I won't say steal of the draft, but I like what I've seen. And let me get to one point, though, real quick about
Go ahead.
The elephant in the room, which is Shedeur Sanders. I'm not a talent evaluator. I'm just a fan. I watched the game. Somebody needs to convince me that he wasn't the second best quarterback in this draft.
That brings up the next question I got for you then.
I hear all the other stuff about, he pounds the ball too much, takes too many sacks. Like, yeah, but the guy had 40 some odd touchdowns against D1 competition, and I think 5 or 6 interceptions. He had a bad offensive line. So yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. What was your question?
So that brings up the big question I have here. Who is your biggest, and this is kind of a two-parter. Who is your biggest shocker of the first round, and who is your biggest disappointment of the first round?
Well, in terms of disappointments,
Yeah.
well, I would have to say Shador Sanders' disappointment, but not for anything he didn't do. Honestly, and again, not a tight end evaluator. My job's not on the line. I'm sitting there with the top 10 pick. And for a minute, I kept thinking, okay, I was thinking, okay, fine. If things stay as they were and the Jaguars take Genty at 5, I'm jumping all over Shador Sanders. I'm sorry.
True. Here's
So,
my.
again,
Go ahead. Go ahead. No,
No, I'm
go
just
ahead.
saying, it's like, I'm not a smart guy when it comes to talent. But you and I have been watching a lot of football over the years. I'm not knocking these evaluators and GMs and whatever. But sometimes you can just overthink, and too many times you can have your ear for all the noise outside of your organization. And I think that's what's been happening here. Again, I saw almost all of Colorado's games the past couple of years. And aside from that performance in their last bowl game, I got to look at those numbers. It's like, no, if that's not good, then what the hell was everybody else? So, he's going to get drafted today. I would assume some smart and some player personnel person who will in the future, declare that, he's smarter than everybody for doing so, will draft him in the second round. I'm still hoping because the Raiders have the 5th or 6th pick. They might move up, but like I said, I think they're going for offensive line help. But damn, I don't get this one. Now I know, people don't like Dion and they think he'd be looking in over the shoulder, whichever team that drafted him, and in particular, might be positioning himself to become the next coach of that team. So I can kind of see where there'd be a little, uneasiness about it. But I think this kid's pretty damn good. And I think he can be taught some things that he may not know or be able to do now for the pro game if he could sit for a year and just let it flow. Man, you can't that kind of talent doesn't just grow on trees. So that was my disappointment. My shocker to some extent was the guy that the Giants ended up drafting at number 25, and that was Jackson Dart. Not because he's not good, because I saw him when he was at USC for like 3 games, whenever that was, 2018, 19, I can't remember.
Right.
But he impressed me. Then when he went to Mississippi, I'm thinking, okay, this kid's pretty good. Again, knows where he's at in the pocket, keeps his eyes down the field, got a really good arm, and knows how to make plays. I'm not arguing that. I just didn't think that he would be available at 20. Excuse me, that he would come up and get drafted number 20. I get the Giants thinking, and I'm always cautious about trying to replicate the past.
I get it.
Yeah. And again, the Giants thinking was, I guarantee you it's going to show up in a lot of their information. Well, we drafted Eli, quarterback out of Ole Miss. How'd that turn out? So
maybe it's an Ole Miss thing. I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe that's what the biggest problem is with him is that it's an Ole Miss thing when it comes when it comes to the Giants. Because the fact is that you had Jackson Dart and you had Shador Sanders on the board, and for the fact that I'm literally at the last stretch of work when Jackson Dart gets drafted, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, I knew he was moving up, but not to be the second pick overall, second quarterback taken. But again, like I said, I've seen his film too. I can't knock the kid. He's got a great deal of talent. But I think for the Giants, they just didn't want to deal with Dion. Like I said, they're playing the head game of, well, we drafted a guy out of Ole Miss before, kind of like the same body type and whatever. So we'll just do it again. You know and I know. Every time I look at what the sport is, particularly when it comes to player selections or whatever, trying to replicate the past is a ticket to disaster. I can't tell you, as a Laker fan, how many times the Lakers in the past 30 years been trying to draft the next Magic Johnson. Ain't gonna happen.
We all didn't expect this, of course, but I feel like
here's my stance on this, and I'm gonna be as blunt as I possibly can when it comes
I
to
know
it.
where you're headed. I know where you're headed. Go ahead.
I am a fan of Shador Sanders. I'm not gonna lie. I am a
Nope.
fan of Shador Sanders.
Me too.
And this is as big as it is because you and me, we're both holy men. We both were raised. We're actually raised by Christian mothers, Christian grandmothers, Christians. Period. So we know for a fact of basically what being humble sounds like. Now let's introduce the world to what it actually does sound like.
We all didn't expect this, of course, but I feel like with God, anything possible, everything possible. I don't feel like this happened, for no reason. All this is of course, fuel to the fire. And under no circumstance, we all know this shouldn't have happened. But we understand we're on the bigger and better things. Tomorrow's the day. We can be happy regardless. Legendary.
Now,
Yeah.
we've
Go ahead.
seen drafts before. We've seen drafts before. And the fact is that we've seen drafts. We've seen players who basically were expected like top 3, top 5, top 10 who just dropped. I remember when Mayo guy pretty much was like all hyped up and then he's looking pissed off as all hell. I remember that. For Shador Sanders not to get picked in the first round by anybody, I don't even care who he gets drafted by come today, come tonight. I don't care who. It don't matter. He's gonna make every single one of those teams suffer. I have high hopes for Shador Sanders, and again, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just that guy who just believes that something big is going to come, that something big is going to happen, that we're going to get to a moment of which we're going to get some craziness coming out of this mess. But when it comes to this one, we saw how the way Deion basically played the game. We saw the way that Deion's attitude was like not very copacetic with many of the people that basically were there. But the fact that Deion was able to turn a program around and make them a potential college football playoff contender in less than 2 years. 2 seasons he's been there. There's a reason why he chose not to go to Dallas, and it was because of the fact that he was able to do what many would not be able to do, and that is turn around a powerhouse like Colorado and turn them from a laughingstock to a legit contender, and that's why he stayed for that show.
And look, I wouldn't say I'm the biggest Deion fan. I respect his talent. I respect what he's accomplished. When he went to Jackson State, I thought, okay, well, give him an opportunity, see what he can do with that program. Turned it around. Took that opportunity and moved on to Colorado. And you remember the hell that he took from a lot of HBCU, fans and stuff. Oh, well, Deion, why are you running out? Deion, you're just going for the money. Well, it was a good opportunity. And he steps in there with a team that, unless I'm mistaken, was 1-11 the year before. And they jumped out the box, had a couple good wins, scared my USC Trojans in their game. I think it was fourth or fifth. And the hype train did start.
True.
And I thought, well, let's see how they do. And they ended up finishing, I think they finished the year like 7-6, something like that. But again, good showing. They come back the next year. And short of that,
people wake up, be like, man, I can't wait to play this
9-2.
football game today.
So again, I'm all about what you get done. I heard all the hype from all kinds of parties. Deion's got a great record. When you turn around 2 programs, oh, by the way, that should get you an NFL job. I know what his personality is. I'm sure it rubs some people the wrong way. But if I were a GM or a management group or an organization that was lacking when it comes to leadership, I would hire the guy. Why not? What are we going to lose? You look at all the bums that have come and gone from organizations like the Jets and the Giants and whoever else.
Niners.
Look,
Rams.
Deion is no question an acquired taste. But if you're about winning, give me a winner. Don't give me a guy that's been sitting on the sidelines or been this or that,
Yep.
assistant coach. Give me a guy with the mentality of a winner. He should be able to pass that on to a certain amount of talented football players and get them to a winning point. So again, I get the Dion stuff, the Shador stuff. But that young man's like, you know what? I loved his attitude. Because, the media is going to even subtly kind of clown him.
Yeah,
And maybe point fingers at it did.
because Mel, if I'm not mistaken, Mel Kiper actually clowned. He's clowned players in the past. We still that's worked out. He clowned Lamar Jackson. He clowned Patrick Mahomes. Hell, I believe he pretty much clowned Shador Sanders on top of it. So Mel Kiper should take a big giant cup of shut the hell up, if nothing else.
But you know what, though? I think I had the numbers right. I think that Kiper, might have been some other analyst, did have Shador as his top-rated quarterback, even over Cam Ward. It's just some of these other guys. And again, it just gets to be so much of an echo chamber. And these guys go on TV, and they're afraid to really take a stand. It's guesswork anyway. So it's like, you don't know. And again, I can recall going back, the only time I ever really faulted Mel Kiper is when he convinced me and other Raider fans that, what was the kid's name now? Out of LSU. This is going back, painfully back quite a ways. God, I can't think of his name now. Quarterback that the Raiders took number 1 overall at LSU, complete bust. And Kiper was all over it. Oh, he's great. He can throw from his knees. He's got a rifle for an arm. And
bear in mind, Kiper was the guy who sat here and said that Josh Allen was a great draft pick for the Bills, and he pretty much guaranteed them a Super Bowl in Josh Allen's second season. Josh Allen's been around for 2 cups of coffee and hasn't even won a Super Bowl yet.
Yep. Yeah. Look, to me, it's a bottom line. You can tell me all the stuff you want. You can give me all the context you want to claim that you can give. What'd you win? Did you win something? Did you get to a Super Bowl even? Because if you haven't, and you've been touted for so many years,
you ain't done shit.
Exactly. I'm sorry. You tell, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. Well, he's going to be a Hall of Famer without any rings.
Pretty much, I believe Dan Marino is literally the essential role, because Dan Marino will always be basically one of the goats with the quarterbacks. Yep. But Dan Marino never won a championship. Peyton Manning broke records. Tom Brady broke records. Mahomes broke records.
Yep.
But they all have rings to back their asses up in case people sit here and say, why is he going to the Hall of Fame? He didn't do nothing. Oh, he won rings. What did he do? He broke some records too. This is what it came down to with me when it came to Shador Sanders not getting drafted in that first round. If his ass is not the first mother-loving pick, the first pick out of day 2 of the NFL draft, then my biggest question is going to be, what the hell is the NFL trying to do? Because they're just basically, they're adding that motivation on there. I don't even care who the hell it is. The Giants needed a quarterback, and they went with Jackson Dart. The Steelers needed a quarterback, and they went with their defensive line. I'm not going to knock it.
No, but ultimately they're going with Mason Rudolph, unless, and again, only the Steelers could make the mistake of saying, "Oh, you know what? Yeah, we're going to pass on this kid, but we're going to sign Aaron Rodgers. That's what we're going to do."
I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna try and keep this one as cordial as possible, because I know there's gonna be some fans who's gonna watch this clip. So on the screen right now, you see Tom Grossi, Matthew Golden, I believe, actually got picked.
Yep.
Matthew Golden actually got picked with this pick, and again, this is Tom Grossi, a very, very, very good content creator. Great shows he does like during the season. We've used his stuff for the longest time, and he's been amazing with it. He's been very appreciative of it. So, Tom, I'm going to say here, get the people what they want. However, following this one, I'm also going to give the clips of the good news, bad news, good idea, bad idea when it comes to the Steelers. There's going to be 2 clips coming with that. It's going to be the Steelers celebrating that Shador Sanders didn't get drafted. And it is also going to be the other side of that Steelers not drafted Shador Sanders, let alone a quarterback when they had their chance. So I'm going to let this play because I'm going to sit here. I'm going to do one better. I'm going to reload I actually bought some top shelf scotch that I've actually been waiting for this moment just to sit here bring this up. So I'm going to bring this to you, and I'm going to let you see. I'm going to get your thoughts on all of these as soon as they're done playing.
The pick is in. Wow, they hit 0, though. The Chargers took all of that time. I thought they were going to skip and potentially go to the Packers here. So here we go. The Green Bay Packers. Golden is there. Do they break the 23-year-old curse and finally draft a wide receiver in the first round, which is the most overplayed narrative every single draft year? But here we are. And ladies and gentlemen, the Green Bay mother-loving Packers are on the clock. 6:42 to go. It's not going to be Sanders. Stop bullying me, Internet. Yeah, there's a couple of guys that they can go. They could go Will Johnson here. They could. They can go Josh Simmons here. That'd be something. Campbell would be like a low-key pick that maybe they could. Golden, of course. Hairston has been there. Mike Green, he's an option. Just let me have a nice pick, please. Just let me be happy. I got into a trade alert with the Lions. Nay. The pick is already, and you can't hurt me now. Nice try, Lions. Can't hurt me this year. And here comes Roger Goodell with the man responsible for getting the draft in Green Bay, Mark Murphy. Let's go, Mark. Mark announcing this pick is perfection. Let's go. It's unbelievable. Let's go. Mark, don't break my heart now. FD praying bad things. Don't you put that on me. Don't you put that on me. Is Mark Murphy going to be the guy to finally give us a receiver after 23 years in the first? We're not picking Shador. Don't you put that voodoo on me. I'm so, again, I am elated for this freaking city, man. It is packed there. Let's effing go. Let's get it. All right, I'm not looking at the chat. We ain't getting spoiled. We're just going to, in Green Bay, Wisconsin, 23rd pick. Let's see. 13-time world champs. Come on. Oh my God, the first time since 2002, they drafted a receiver. Oh my God, for the first time in 23 years, it's Matthew Golden. It's Matthew Golden. Green and golden. Put it on the shirt. You are a Green Bay Packer. Wow. I have goose.
I'm going to be honest. Watching his reaction. And I actually did not see this clip before it got sent to me. But watching his reaction just made it 10 million times more epic. And I'm not even a Packers guy, but just watching him just react like a kid who just got the golden ticket, all pun intended. Pretty much just sat here and just made it epic when it comes to this one, because I wanted that kind of excitement on round one, day one of this draft. But my Rams, they traded out.
Yep.
But they at least got a first round pick for next season, which I'm okay with.
And they've gone a while. You know, they made some trades earlier on, some years back, where they were handing out, first round draft picks like they were lollipops. Like that. Slow down.
That I get it. And the thing is that the Rams hadn't been in a first round. I think last year was the first time that they were actually in the first round of the draft in ages. But they got what they wanted out of all those trades, which was a Super Bowl.
And not only that. Not only that, I'm sure you saw, their playoff game against the Eagles in the last playoffs. They are positioned.
They are ready. Honestly, I am more hyped up. I'm hyped up more about my Rams this year, this upcoming season, than I was when they basically were just running around chickens with their heads cut off. They
Yep.
like honestly, they're ready. And if Grossi, if you are actually legitimate on the belief that AD is going to come out of retirement, there's a good thing I have his jersey already. I need Pukas to replace my Coop.
Mhm.
But you know, I'm gonna let certain somebody hint dumb one. I'm gonna let him go ahead and buy that one for me. If you need to, I got a website you can try out. I think it's like $24 or something like that, and it's actually good looking.
I tell you what, because again, we're talking. The last time I was a Rams fan, even though I grew up in LA,
Yep.
almost 50 years ago, I cut them loose 76, the year I graduated college. And I just had enough. I was like, you know what, these boys, yeah, they're good, but they're kind of bland. And the lady I was seeing at the time was a Raiders fan from Oakland.
Wait. You graduated in 76?
Yep.
Folks, take a look at this picture. I want y'all to understand this picture. This man actually looks younger than me, and I'm actually shaved it all off for hockey reasons. This mofo still looks younger than me without it.
I have to admit, though, there was a little bit of hair coloring.
You suck so fucking badly, Don. But anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, but you know, so anyway, like I said, the Rams were kind of in that. When they moved to Anaheim, I was done with them. Like, you can move out the hood, you're going to go to Orange County, which is ultimately where I ended up. But anyway, I had enough. I became a Raider fan. Raiders won the Super Bowl that following year. I've been hooked to that for quite a while. I will say this much, because I looked at what's the kid's name, Verse, the defensive tackle or lineman. Man, he may not be the second coming of Aaron Donald, but he is what they used to say, like agile, mobile, versatile, and hostile.
And bear in mind, Jared Verse is a rookie.
Yep.
He was a rookie last year. Imagine how mean his ass is going to be, knowing full well they could have taken out the defending,
got close,
heavily disputed Super Bowl champion Eagles. Yes, I'm still going ham on that because honestly, Eagles fans, you guys can kiss my ass because you guys were, again, y'all were calling for this guy to get fired after the Browns game, and y'all won the game. And then y'all all of a sudden was here going to the streets and celebrate. God, rest in peace. Rest in peace, thoughts and condolences to the kid who ended up dying. I believe, either the championship game or the Super Bowl, the one that died because his ass went on the fucking lamp pole. But I digress. So we talked, and it's a nice little segue we just did there because speaking of Philly, we go to the other side of the river, to Schittsburg. Now let's just set this up. The Steelers have two guys, Skylar Thompson and Mason Rudolph at quarterback. Shedeur Sanders is still on the board. Jackson Dart is still on the board when this was prior to the Giants taking their pick. So everybody's kind of wondering, are the Steelers not to see here because they're probably still hoping and praying that Aaron Rodgers is going to become a Steeler when he's done when he's coming off of his whatever acid trip he's on in the Andes. And I said acid trip in the Andes, which is probably what his dumb ass is on. But this is the portion where I say good idea, bad idea. This is basically the good idea. This is the good idea part.
If it's Jalen Milroe, will you shave your head?
Yeah, fuck it. I'll do it.
Okay. If it's for Jalen,
I'll do it live.
He'll do it live. Okay, I don't think it's Jalen.
Oh, there we go. I hope not.
That will be the funniest thing on earth. Here's Mel Diaper.
Oh, there we go. It's Mel Kiper.
Here's Mel Diaper Jr.
Who the hell is Mel Kiper? Who is Mel Kiper?
Thank you.
Didn't he die this past year? The GM who said that?
I thought Mel Kiper was dead.
Here we go.
Former break. Here it is. Let's go.
Jeebus, hold me.
In the 2025 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Derek Harmon, defensive tackle, Oregon. You can hear the roar in this crowd that is just surprised
No quarterback. No quarterback. Thank God. Yes. Yes. Thank
I'm
the
a little
Lord.
confused.
Yes.
We have Mason Rudolph, and we didn't draft the quarterback, and he's happy.
Fuck you. No Jalen Milrow. No Shador Sanders. You keep going down the board, motherfuckers. Go. We gotta need. Go. Oh, my God.
Somebody needs to wake this guy up and tell him, give him 2 words. Mason Rudolph.
Thank God.
I know you did. Wait. I know you didn't just say that.
Thank Lord.
Wait. Come on now. Mason Rudolph? Isn't Mason Rudolph still like concussed from when he got his helmet pretty much shoved up his ass?
That's what I'm saying, though. It's like, why would you be excited about not getting any quarterback?
I know.
And being left with Mason Rudolph. I mean, damn. Was Jimmy Garoppolo not available? I don't know.
So that was the good part of the Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to the bad. Oh, this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be fun because Chiseled always gets us covered. He always gets us covered. Chiseled Adonis spoke exactly what the Steelers wanted.
So let me get this straight. The Pittsburgh Steelers are selecting 21 in the 2025 NFL Draft, live from Green Bay, Wisconsin. 2 of the top 3 remaining quarterbacks are on the board, one being Jackson Dart, one being Shador Sanders. The Pittsburgh Steelers let Russell Wilson and Justin Fields both walk out the door. Our current quarterback room is Skylar Thompson and Mason Rudolph, all while we're awaiting a response from a 41-year-old man who's fixing to turn 42 in December, who needs hallucinogens in order to make it through an off season, who was born during the Reagan administration.
I'm gonna be honest. I think I was born during the Reagan administration. That's kind of a low blow for me, but you know what?
Hey, I was born during the Eisenhower administration, 6 months after the Truman administration. 40 years.
Why you gotta be rubbing that one in my face at this moment?
Just saying, it's
Why you gotta be rubbing that in my face? That is the part that gets me the most about it right now. Is you had to go there with that, but I'm hoping to look about as smooth and suave as you do when I hit your age. I can at least have that to back me up. But I digress. Chiseled, after you.
And we select a defensive lineman? What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? Even if you didn't buy into the hype and all of the media attention of Shador Sanders, we don't have a quarterback. Literally, what's the worst that could happen at this point? Oh man, we don't have a winning season. We weren't projected to have one anyway. And most people would probably want to mess around and tank or something of that nature so we can stop being in the perpetual winning season of 10-7 and 9-8. But we choose a D lineman, and no disrespect to that young man. I hope he goes on to have a prosperous career. But we passed on a quarterback for what? Our quarterback room is Skylar Thompson and Mason Rudolph. Chris Boswell might be throwing passes this year. What are we doing? Release us from the genjutsu that we just so happen to be caught underneath, because every single move this offseason makes no sense. We traded to get DK Metcalf. We've got George Pickens, if I'm not mistaken, entering the final year of his contract, or maybe he has a 5th-year option, whatever the case may be. We have wide receivers that don't have a quarterback to throw them the football. And we about to bank the future, the foreseeable future, on a 41-year-old man who needs crack in order to make it through an offseason, who don't even know if he wants to play football anymore, or perhaps, what about if Kirk Cousins becomes available? A man who don't got no Achilles. We waiting on quarterbacks who don't got no motherfucking Achilles. This what we doing? Is this what we're doing? What kind of general manager kind of thought process is this? What kind of head coach sort of thought process is this? We could take a quarterback, even if it's not Shador, and we go Jackson Dart. Whichever one it may be, if it falls flat and shit don't work out, okay, we work moving forward, but at least we gave it a try at quarterback. We have no vision, no direction, no roadmap, no blueprint for the future whatsoever. We sitting here with dicks in our hands. We might trot out 70-plus-year-old Terry Bradshaw to go throw the motherfucking football. Big Ben is a podcaster. He might as well come out here and throw the motherfucking football. This is ridiculous. What are we doing, son? 21, right there for you. Stars align. The very same number in which his father wore to enshrine himself into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. We could have got Shador. Or if we want to go and go Jackson Dart, we could have went there too. But oh no, fuck the quarterback position. We got wide receivers. Nobody got to throw them the football. They can throw the ball to themselves. The center snaps the ball into the ethos. Somehow the football makes it to the wide receiver. Touchdown Steelers. We lose 28-13. What the hell are we doing? What are we doing?
I want people to understand how bad that sounds, how bad that looks, how bad it basically came down to. Because Chisel Don has been a lifelong Steelers fan. He's made many videos based off of this. He did a whole, the Tupac's Hit 'Em Up. He did a whole ass remix of that when the Steelers lost to the Browns at home in the playoffs. So it makes perfect sense. Here's the problem I've got. Here's the biggest thing. I can understand that the Steelers wanted to work on their defense. I legit understand that beyond any shocker. I understand that. However, when the two guys that are in your damn quarterback room belong more on an episode of Jackass and ridiculousness than they do on a field, you might have a problem. And you got literally Jackson Dart, Shador Sanders on the board, and you decide, no, I'm just going to go with TJ Watt's replacement. Negroes, what the fuck are y'all thinking? And it's just like, usually we go ham about the Cowboys, but I can't even go ham on the Cowboys for picking a guard because they needed the guard. Dak's been getting hurt way too much, so I can't get mad at him. The Raiders had a damn good draft. They grabbed one of the best running backs in the country. The Falcons actually stepped their game up. 2 edge rushers. And I know they're about the second edge rusher because that was the Rams pick. And for the fact that the Steelers decided, I'm just going to say, we're going to sit here and just tank this shit right now. I can't even be mad at the Giants for grabbing Jackson Dart because they want, it's just like a DEI thing when it comes down to it. Just like is this a DI thing when it comes to it? Because they have Russell Wilson and they have Jameis Winston, but now they got Jackson Dart and Tommy DeVito. I forgot about the Guido.
Tommy got cutlets.
I forgot about the Guido. But what gets it more than anything else, what bugs it more than anything else, is that I look at this situation right now, and I still look at every single person that has a quarterback need. Giants no longer on the table. New Orleans needs another quarterback because Derek Carr is gone. Derek Carr is done. He's probably going to retire. Respectfully, yo Raiders need a quarterback too. As much as I love Mustachio Gardner Minshew.
Oh, he's gone.
He's gone. So all we got is Geno Smith. You guys even need a quarterback. And who better to sit here? Who better to basically teach somebody how to be relevant as a journeyman than Geno Smith? Shador would be great in Vegas.
Yep.
Hell, I might put my own team out there. Stafford's getting close to that retirement. You mean to tell me that you rather re-sign Jimmy G, who did fuck all in his one damn appearance in the regular season?
Don't remind me.
And then you got the Georgia Bulldog, who is following the path of Aaron Rodgers right now, respectfully to Stetson Bennett. He's even following that path. And you kidding me? You were that close to knocking out the champs. That close to setting up the Super Bowl that we wanted. In theory. But y'all chose Stetson Bennett and Jimmy G. And you got a chance to sit here. I'm not even going to lie. Can you imagine Shador Sanders in that offense? We may be talking about the Nets' Michael Vick. And he just got moved to the second round?
Yeah, here's one thing, though, real quick. Because it's run the Raiders and I think a number of organizations, with the exception of the draft the year before. The Raiders, like a lot of clubs, fall in love with these SEC boys. Give me an SEC tackle, running back, anything, and I'm going to be better. Well, other than Brock Bowers, which is the exception to that nonsense, I haven't seen it for the Raiders. I can't tell you, because I blocked it from my memory, how many SEC offensive linemen and defensive linemen the Raiders have drafted in the past 10 years, who are now either out of football or whatever. I don't know where they're at. So this idea, the one thing I didn't want, because I saw it in a mock draft, was the Raiders were going to take an offensive lineman out of the SEC. And I'm thinking, don't if you do that, I'm going to have to start taking hostages, because apparently you guys aren't getting the message. Not having that. So fortunately, they get Genty. But I'm telling you, that's still the thinking out there that you just give me an SEC guy and we're going to be good. And I'm just not, particularly at the quarterback spot. Now again, you have exceptions. You know, you have, the kid in Philadelphia and so on. So I get that. But it's like, people just assume that, hey, they got to be good because they've been on good teams. They played in a tough conference. Not necessarily the case. So, I think the Rams, again, to go back to the Rams, I think they're set. I don't see, I think they might need another running back. Maybe a better tight end. They look ready to roll. In that division, San Francisco on the slide, Seattle is Seattle, and the Cardinals are the Cardinals. There's no reason why the Rams can't win that division going away. Okay. So again, to go back to, this draft and everything is set up, Cleveland's got two of the first 4 picks in the second round. Why they wouldn't draft Shador with one of those picks would be beyond me. I mean, the Browns, they have 2 of the first 4 picks, 33 and 36. they should draft Shador and get this over and done with, for God's sake. Oh, by the way, what have the Browns done at quarterback? I mean, you go back to their history, their recent history, it's a mess. You know, it's like if you want to be a career killer, get yourself drafted at quarterback by the Browns. And what's happened recently with Deshaun Watson? I mean, they give the guy $230 million guaranteed, and stuff happens after that. You know, they actually had Baker Mayfield. They drafted him number one, but they've also drafted guys like what's his name, Johnny of the, you know. I don't know what the Browns can do. They've already hurt themselves multiple times. Not going to hurt themselves anymore by drafting Sanders. That's a potential upside. So I say if they let him go past 36, then you know the Cleveland Browns, they should just sell the franchise and go into making pizzas because they're not a professional. They're not a professional NFL organization. That is clear. So they're going to need to do some work. You know, I'm looking at because after the Browns at 33, it's Texans who don't need a quarterback. It's Tennessee, which clearly doesn't need a quarterback.
Tennessee might honestly may not just go with it because we don't know exactly what Will Levis's future is going to look like. Will Levis has more time sitting here selling craptastic mayo flavored cologne, which he thinks mayo is such a good aroma to have on a person. There is white women who are literally sitting here saying that shit don't work. You got white women sitting here saying that shit don't work. But I'll be cordial. I'll be fair on this. There are still teams that still need a quarterback, and honestly, I feel like Jacksonville would be right up there. As good as Trevor Lawrence has been for that franchise, here's the bottom line. Those mofos need somebody who can actually run out the pocket, and Trevor Lawrence still runs like a white guy running from a black guy who's basically trying to shake him. I'm not kidding anymore. This is one of those, well, maybe I am kidding a little bit, but here's the bottom line. Jacksonville needs a quarterback. Kansas City needs a quarterback. I'm not going to lie. Patrick Mahomes, as good as Kansas City needs somebody who actually has some younger legs. Mahomes has been around for a good minute. He's had his time. He's had his legacy. He's still a good quarterback now. But Patrick Mahomes needs somebody who actually can work the legs as good as Shador does. My guarantee is that before this day is over, Shador Sanders will be a NFL quarterback. I don't know which team is going to have to sit here and fuck around and find out, but every team, all 31 of them, are going to fuck around and find out as Shador keeps going. The kid's got the talent. Yeah. I am not convinced by Jackson Dart. I feel like Jackson Dart will be the bad end of Eli Manning at this point, no matter what Mel Diaper has to say. Mel Diaper is probably the biggest blowhard in NFL draft history. And if you believe this guy, look at Lamar Jackson.
All right. Oh, by the way, for historical reference,
receipt.
The guy that said, who the hell is Mel Kiper, was the one-time GM of the then, I think, Colts. I think the name
How'd that work out for him? How'd that work out for him?
You know. But again, what I hate is the mystique around the draft. It's guesswork, folks. It's guesswork. And again, my memory's kicking in now. The Raiders tried to draft Jamarcus Russell, number 1 overall out of LSU.
Oh, I remember that. That's probably the epitome of sack of shit you cannot fit into your head. Jamarcus Russell looked more pregnant than my ass did when I actually was packing pounds. I'm still packing them on, but I'm actually getting better with putting them in the spots, the body parts that it needs to be in. But
Jamarcus Russell had too much of that purple drink back in the day out of his Houston connection.
You gonna play this on the purple drink? The purple stuff had nothing to do with Jamarcus Russell sucking in the NFL. It's about the equivalent of saying Ryan Leaf basically just did the Sunny D diet. And that's why he sucked. But we can't say that about Aaron Rodgers, although we should. But when it comes to this one, matter of fact, who has the first pick in tonight's round 2? Who's got that one? Because
Cleveland. They have two of the first 4 picks, 33 and 36.
And who is Cleveland's quarterbacks? Oh, that look right there. Exactly. So
I have no idea.
No, that's not a knock on Turner's horseshoe. That is basically saying the fucking gospel that Cleveland needs a quarterback. We don't want the whole Baker Mayfield situation. We remember how that went. But Baker Mayfield at least got him to a playoff and a playoff win on top of it. So you can't be mad at Baker. Deshaun Watson, what the fuck did you do with Cleveland? Jack and shit. Oh, and jacked off in most cases.
He did get married during the offseason, so there you go.
They got who?
Deshaun Watson got married during the offseason.
That don't mean shit. Deshaun Watson's still going to be doing Deshaun Watson's going to be that guy that's going to be getting rubbing tugs when the preseason even starts. In training camp, he's going to be training those women to rub and tug them right. That is all that he's going to be sitting here doing. He's lucky that basically he's not in my crosshairs right now. I actually scratched that. He is in my crosshairs along with his franchise. All 32 teams, mine's included, and let me be honest, mine's included, are all in the hot seat. Because by the time I do my show tonight, by the time I do the slamming show, because bear in mind, just got done with WrestleMania. Still got done with the week of WrestleMania. I still got SmackDown tonight. And I've already sat here and I've gotten the RKO I wanted to get when Randy Orton popped up on Monday night. I've gotten my shit. But the part that gets me the most is when I look at this very scenario. Night 2 of this draft should end with Shedeur Sanders being an NFL quarterback. And whatever team picks him. Whatever team picks him. Don't put on the jersey. Don't put on the draft cap. That's my suggestion to him and to his dad. Because his dad, if I'm mistaken, was a first-round draft pick. You got enough gall and audacity to sit here and draft him in the second round, and you want to try to justify that? I don't fucking think so. None of those teams that are literally in the draft. We got Atlanta still trying to basically shop Kirk Cousins at pawn shop, thrift shop prices. And then we got the Jets, who have Justin Fields. And that's it?
Yep.
Are y'all stupid? Then we got the Giants, who just have two crazy-ass Negroes, a Guido, and now they got the lone white guy in Mississippi who basically can scream and yell his ass off all he fucking wants. And on top of that, this is the most diverse, split down the middle, River to Titan style DEI quarterback field I have seen in a long ass time. To top it all off, this is the one. I mean, I will bring this damn thing back up because I didn't get that much into it, but I kind of want to get into it because I'm looking at this draft board for the first round, and I wanted to see a look on your face when I sit here and actually say this, because this is the one time where I will actually sit here and put your guys at the top of that spot. Tennessee, I am good with you guys sitting here grabbing Cam Ward. Jacksonville, getting Travis Hunter was the smartest decision you guys made, because now you got a dual threat who can basically sit here and make somebody his bitch on both sides of the ball. Raiders. I'm going to be honest. No. I know you do the golf claps, but here's the thing. You guys did good so much that we could have realized. Now, if you get Pete Carroll to actually remember to run the damn ball,
Which he will
At the
do.
goal line, you might have yourself a typical football team because the Chiefs don't look as tough or as unbeatable or invincible as they thought. We saw that in the Super Bowl. The Chargers are kind of hit and miss because Harbaugh is still trying to figure this team out. The Broncos actually look like they're probably your biggest threats. But I feel like you get Geno Smith in the offseason. You draft Ashton Genty. You guys are thinking in your heads exactly what needs to be done. And what needs to be done was for Raider Nation to cheer their asses off. And y'all cheered your asses off. I see the Instagram post. I've seen the Twitter post. I've seen the Facebook post. Y'all been screaming your heads off about Ashton Genty coming in there and literally being better than that guy you guys had one lifetime ago who decided, I don't like Sin City. I'm gonna go to Green Bay. How'd that work out for you, you dumb bitch? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to call you stank bitch. That's what I wanted to call it.
I had to look it up because I was talking about previous Raider draft picks, recent ones. This year, Ashton Genty, Brock Bowers, no doubt. That's beyond solid. He fell into their laps. Even though they made the pick, I'm thinking, well, this is the second year in a row that we essentially got a tight end. Even though the other guy, I can't even know off the top of my head, out of Notre Dame, Mike Myers. Again, I think they got him in the second round. I was just taking a trip down memory lane. In 2023, and again, this is more, I guess, Big 12 than anything else, they drafted defensive end Tyree Wilson. I don't think he's ever going to make much of himself. But the one pick that they made on the night that they made it, I am still screaming about it. 2021, the Raiders with the 17th overall pick selected tackle Alex Leatherwood of the SEC in Alabama. And I'm thinking, I never even heard of the guy. Alex Leatherwood sounds like a porn name. So the name of some guy that you want to play defensive tackle, he busted out. It's like, man. And 2 years before that, in 2020, I'll never forget this draft. And there's kind of a sad story attached to it. I remember the draft night, because this was during COVID. So everybody's at home. And the Raiders with the number 12 pick wide receiver out of Alabama, Henry Ruggs. And you know that story with, the vehicular manslaughter and all that stuff.
Nope. Don't even want to think about Henry Suggs when it comes down to it. Great player, stupid human being. That's what I think about when it comes to Henry Ruggs.
But normally I don't get into how guys look on draft night.
Right.
Like last night, some of the suit choices were not up to my taste. I do think that kid Golden, though, he hit it. That was a good-looking suit.
True.
But some of the rest, you got all this money. Why don't you have somebody just don't go out there and pick what you just want to be. Have somebody advise you what's going to look good on TV and let the fans think, hey, this guy is coming for business. That pink suit.
Here's why I come to it. You might as well just come out there and basically a pair of slides, a pair of shorts, and whatever team you're going with. Go with that route. Don't even show up to the damn draft. Just do like a cookout.
Here you go.
And sit here and just hold up the shit like everybody else fucking did. Because I'm gonna be honest, the last thing I wanted was to see a video of somebody in Utah getting celebrated. Like, are you kidding me? Utah already sits here is already basically what I've called the skid mark of the West. That's what I call Utah. And Arizona, you're right up there. You're 2 steps behind it. So don't even go there with me on this. But there was one more. There was at least one more person I wanted to get in this one. And I think we've used her before, but Annie.
Mm-hmm.
I need you to come in and just make some sense of this madness, please.
All right, everyone, it is officially draft week, and we still have no idea what's happening with our quarterbacks. I feel just like the Browns. Green Bay is hosting this year, so everybody please be nice. Well, you're definitely not breaking our attendance record. We are smaller than an Aaron Rodgers family reunion. Yes, it will be very tight in there, so please no pushing or shoving. However, it is Green Bay, so they'll probably just ban it. Question, where are we supposed to stay? How about the 4 seasons, 1 season for every one of your draft picks? Okay, all right, well, you three just knock it off. Why can't you be more like Chicago? Okay, a couple important guys will be at the draft this year. Abdul Carter, Matthew Golden, which came as a shock to Green Bay. They weren't aware wide receivers were available in the first round. Also, Jalen Milroe will be in attendance. To show him what the green room will look like for hours, where is Will Levis? Travis Hunter will not be in attendance, but his girlfriend will be. He'll be sitting outside. Okay, a couple things to go over before we get into the draft. Kadarius Toney is retiring to pursue a rap career. Can't wait for that album to drop. Also, happy Easter to everyone. Trevor Lawrence, happy Passover. Pretty sure he's not Jewish. Yes, but he has a pass over his receivers' heads every week. All right, let's just get this over with. With the first overall pick, the Tennessee Titans. How we would like to trade up. Oh my God. Can we just go 1 season without you interrupting? We'll trade. We will trade. You put your hand, no trading, okay? Philly, Howie has 20 picks over the next 2 seasons, and your roster is loaded. How much help do you need? Well, we can always use more weapons. You have more weapons than John Morant. Are we still on the... Will you just make the pick? Everybody knows already. With the first overall pick, the Tennessee Titans... We are taking Travis Hunter, but only if he can play cornerback and wide receiver. Absolutely not. Why not? In their defense, they suck at both, so... Travis Hunter plays 2 positions at an elite level. The Giants can't even play 1. This is not college. We are not having someone play offense and defense at the same time. Not sure why that's such a big deal. Tua stops his own offense all the time. Quick question, is Russ or Jameis the better option? For motivational speeches or to win games? We have a choice. New York, what exactly is your plan? The plan is that we have no plan. Great. Russell Wilson now has as many playoff wins at MetLife Stadium as the Giants do. The Manning prophecy will be fulfilled. What happened to drafting Shador? You're afraid of Deion, aren't you? We are not. Ah! Sir, you are softer than Jalen Brunson. Okay, moving on. New England, you are on the clock. We are thinking Will Campbell. I would say that's a reach at 4, but he can't reach very far. His arms are not that short. The Land Before Time called. They want to know if he's available for a live-action remake. Will you ask him what it was like working with Woody and Buzz? All right, let's check in with Jacksonville. How are you doing? Did you guys know you can draft guys from Michigan? At this point, we'd be preparing for Jalen Walker or Michael Williams, so we're doing great. Okay, next. Are we on the clock now? Sure. We are taking Jalen. Ashton Genty, we are taking Ashton Genty. Okay, Milroe, that's unexpected. No, Walker. Get out. Guys, we are feeling cautiously optimistic. You could draft God and you'd still go 5 and 12. Yeah, but what's his Madden rating? Guys, we know our defense finished 32nd in the league last year, so we're drafting a wide receiver. You are worse than the Bengals. Okay, in our defense. What defense? But do not worry, we always hit on our 2nd and 3rd round draft. You are trying harder to hit on 2s and 3s than Carson Beck on a Friday night. Okay, somebody get the Saints in here, please. Thanks to Derek Carr, Brett Favre is no longer the only NFL player to steal millions from a state in the South. What is going on with him? I don't know, he blocked us. Okay, all right, New Orleans, here's a list of things Derek Carr has done for your organization. Not take accountability, make excuses for everything, throw receivers into their death, head dives, and getting Dennis Allen fired twice. Paid a 32-year-old $150 million. I guess Skip Bayless wasn't the only one this year who paid millions to see some ass. Well, that was an exhausting free agency. Is anybody else tired? Okay, Dallas, where is Jerry? Jerry said he's got some pretty big trades that could happen, but don't worry, he's getting advice on how to handle them. From who? Nico Harrison. Is Tyler Warren still available? We heard he could play quarterback. But you already have the quarterback battle of the year. Daniel Jones versus Anthony Richardson. Indiana Jones in the season of doom. Guys, Kirk is at voluntary workouts. What do we do? You paid him $180 million to be there. Yeah, well, we don't want him here. Do that again, we'll draft another quarterback. Pittsburgh, what are you doing? We're still waiting on Aaron. Look, are you going to retire or what? Because it looks like Shador might fall to us. You know, I had a dream last night. I dreamt I was a dove flying over the sea. Wow. Even Katy Perry came back down to earth quicker than Aaron Rodgers.
I'm sorry. Oh my God.
Damn.
Did she not just go straight ham on this shit? My God.
And she pulled out a 9 mil and was just doing drive-bys on everybody.
No, even Jay Morant wasn't safe on that. That's what gives me more than anything else. What the shit?
Man.
Oh my God. Oh, Joe, I agree with you flat out. Yep. Annie's got guy going. I will party with her any day of the damn week. Even if we gotta go to Vegas here and just unleash hell, just watching her do her thing, beautiful. Too damn beautiful. So, what do you feel like? Okay, so as we're getting ready to try to get this thing all wrapped up, because we do have the draft starting in a couple of hours. What exactly are you expecting when it comes to tonight? Or in my case, or in our case, this afternoon, afternoon/evening when it comes to day 2. How far are they going to say? How much are they going to poke the bear known as Shedeur Sanders? Because Shedeur, pretty much, everybody's talking about him. I feel like if his ass is not picked up by the first 10 picks of the second round, every single NFL needs to get slapped. Jerry Jones just needs to get slapped on principle, but that's besides the point.
You know what? I just, and again, I'm not like these guys on the NFL Network or ESPN or whatever. So I don't have sources. I don't know any GMs or whatever. But if Shedeur Sanders gets beyond the second of Cleveland's picks at 36, I throw my hand up in the air. Because I'm just not going to care. It's done. Like, I'm
true.
sorry. That's talent. If you don't see that there's a sufficient amount of talent to at least draft and develop, then I'm done with you guys. Because then now you just all, it's one big circle jerk. Nobody's looking outside the circle to see what the hell's going on.
He ain't lying. He ain't lying. And the fact is that, yes, every team still has some needs to go with. But Pittsburgh still needs a quarterback.
Yeah.
You guys let Russell and Justin walk. All you have is basically two white guys who belong in an episode of Jackass. And there's no respect to basically any of the white quarterbacks. So Jackson Dart will probably outshine both of those morose motherfuckers in Schittsburg. But the fact that, now look at this, and I'm looking at this just from your perspective. Geno Smith will most likely outshine Derek Carr. He'll probably get the Raiders back in the fucking playoffs while Derek Carr is still sitting at home basically beating himself because of the fact that he couldn't sit here. Like, bruh, how many times you got to hurt yourself before you start realizing that maybe it's time for you to retire? Hell, they say it's the big show in WWE for Lord knows how long before he finally caught on and realized, you know what? Instead of retiring, I'm going to go to AEW, wrestle a couple of matches, and then I'm going to retire. That right there is not going to work for you. You might do better in the UFL, but I don't think you're going to survive in the NFL. And bear in mind, some of the players that are actually in the NFL played for the USFL, the XFL, the UFL, period, point blank. If Shedeur Sanders is not picked up by the first 10 picks, I'll give a rat's ass what justification would I go to. I want Mel Kiper to show his ass up. I want the NFL draft to come to Seattle so I can sit here and see Mel Kiper at a hotel in Seattle so I can slap the piss out of him the way that y'all deserve it. Because y'all believe everything Mel Kiper says, and Mel Kiper doesn't know shit. Mel Kiper, in his eyes, he's Pikachu. And if you know what I'm going with this is how it's going to go. My missus can sit here and attest to this because I say it to her all the time. I said it about my own. I said it about my own damn son, and he's out in the garage. Pikachu know everything, but Pikachu don't know shit. When it comes to this one, Shedeur Sanders should be, needs to be, will be drafted in the top 10 of round 2.
Yeah, and here's something. Again, I'm going to be reading the tea leaves. Again, the Browns had picked 33 and 36. They still have it.
Right.
They could have used it last night to move up to get Sanders. I think the reason they didn't make that move is that they're going to get him in one of those 2 picks. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense.
It honestly has to happen there. I mean, Cleveland pretty much needs somebody that they can actually trust in that quarterback. Because Dorian Thompson-Robinson, he's not even on the team anymore, right?
I think he's with the Raiders.
So y'all need somebody. And Cleveland, if you're going to move to the suburbs, you might as well take a suburban quarterback with you. Deshaun Watson's not suburban type unless you go to a part of the suburbs where every wife is desperate and they all need a happy ending. That is the only reason I would suggest not taking a quarterback. But the fact is that we are at an impasse right now where if you're not picking a quarterback, you're an idiot. Cleveland, respectfully, Vegas, Dallas, hell, Jacksonville, Rams. Yeah, I'm putting my own team out there. Seattle. Drew Lock is not your savior. He was your receiver
God,
the first
no.
time. Why the hell is he going to be your receiver the second time around? Seattle needs a new quarterback. But to put this in perspective, maybe it's time that everybody comes to realization. Patrick Mahomes changed this sport. He changed the NFL. The NFL is no longer about that. The Colts, the team right there to your left, they need a quarterback because Joe Flacco and Anthony Richardson, really? Are we really?
Lord,
Oh, wait, no.
yeah.
No, Joe Flacco's with the Browns again, right?
Yeah, he moved on. So
Okay.
it's just Anthony Rich, and they brought in some other guy.
Not worth the
whoever he was.
presentation.
Yeah, it's like whoever he was, he didn't catch my attention to even care. So essentially, it's Anthony Richardson and some guy.
And we see how well that worked out. We remember all the jokes we cracked about Anthony Richardson. This guy apparently sits here and gets on his period, and all of a sudden he can't play. And he's a Florida quarterback, and I'm a Gators guy. And I'm even sitting here saying, "Are you kidding me right now?" This is what it only honestly comes down to on this.
I just started to take a gander at Bleacher Reports. This is their mock draft for the second round. And their pick, with the first pick in the second round, number 33, the Cleveland Browns, according to them, they're going to select Shedeur Sanders.
As long as they don't listen to Mel Kiper's stupid ass, they should be fine. In fact, the NFL should just erase Mel Kiper from the equation because his ass ain't shit. Joe, I'm actually curious about that. This is what it comes down to. Shedeur is going to basically call his own shots. This is what it comes down to on this one. Shedeur Sanders should have been a first-round draft pick, and yet for some reason, everybody was picking their players as if they were about to get snatched. Schittsburg doesn't have a quarterback, so they will pay this man a 5-year deal. They will pay him a 5-year regardless of what the hell they think. What? You think Skylar, Tristan Thompson, and Mason could cuss Rudolph is going to basically do anything for the Steelers? I don't even think that.
And you know what? The Steelers do not have, from what I see, they don't have a second-round pick.
This is kind of what it comes down to in this one, is that if Shedeur's not, and this is not me advocating, this is not being an advocate for Shedeur Sanders. Although if Shedeur Sanders is picked in the top 10, Dion, that contract you just signed with CU, I'll take it just a little bit. I just use some beer money for the year. Hell, some scotch money for the year. I don't care. Pick it. Your choice. But what it comes down to for me is that Shedeur Sanders should have been picked in round 1. The guys that pretty much got picked, most of them probably would have been available in round 2, but they wanted the moment. They wanted the moment for Jackson Dart to go, yeah! Who gives a shit? Jackson Dart. If Jackson Dart's going to become the new Eli Manning for the Giants, he will be gone probably by his fifth year. I have no faith in Jackson Dart. Even with him being an SEC guy, I have no faith in him. And I usually have no faith in SEC quarterback.
He's not going to be Daniel Jones. I think he's going to be better than that. Because again, I've seen him. And again, that's just basic things. It's not, you don't look at a guy and look for the spectacular stuff or the real dynamic stuff. But you at least want a guy where you can see where he's grounded and his fundamentals are good enough to build on. That's what I see in this guy. Beyond that, I don't know what he's going to do.
Here's what it comes down to, and the guy that works at 7-Eleven was actually working today, and I looked at him and I went, Jackson Dart? And he just started losing his mind. He started laughing his ass off. His coworker was giving him hell for that shit. And what it came down to it for me was there's one guarantee for the Giants. If this game plan that they had last night does not work out, if Jackson Dart becomes the bust, because we always know there is at least one bust in the NFL in the first round of the NFL draft. If you don't believe us, just ask Jamarcus Lawrence. Just ask Ryan Leaf. Hell, you can ask half the guys who basically are sitting here making my burger at Jack in the Box, who had those aspirations and failed miserably. Not everybody can be Cordell Stewart.
Oh, by the way, let me bring up a name from the past since they are the crosstown team. Remember Josh Rosen? And how
Oh,
teams jumped up to get this
I
boy and
can't
he was
forget
going.
his nose. I can't
Oh,
forget. I can't forget the nose.
and again,
Josh Nosen.
I saw him enough. And again, I'm just giving deference to Jackson Dart.
Yeah,
I never understood that one. That was the reach of reaches. That was the
that
reach
was
around,
that
pretty
was
much.
stupid. That was about as bad of an idea for the Giants as letting a certain running back walk. That's what it seems like. When it comes down to it, we know which running back I'm talking about. And the fact is they let him walk, and then literally, as soon as they let him walk, what did he do? Saquon champion. This man just sat here and posterized somebody on live television with his ass.
Yep.
To put it as bluntly as I can, as nice as I can, the Giants do not know how to draft to save their life. The Giants suck at drafting, and that's what it basically boils down to it for me. And Shador better not even go into a Giants direction.
Well, I will say, look, drafting Abdul Carter, pending whatever his injury situation turns out to be, that's a good pick. I'm not saying he's the second coming of what's the kid down in Dallas? More the same number 11.
Cooper Rush?
No. I'm talking about defensive lineman at the Cowboys.
Micah?
Yeah, I'm saying he's not that second coming. But again, I just go on what I see. He's good. Is he going to be a good enough scheme to have significant impact? I don't know. But should they have taken? I'm thinking what else is available. Well, again, once Jacksonville jumped up to get Hunter, that's all that was left. They weren't going to draft an offensive tackle.
Here's the thing. You just compare pretty much. Did you just compare Shador Sanders to Micah Parsons?
No. I was comparing Abdul Carter.
Abdul Carter. Okay. Abdul Carter will be better than Micah Parsons because basically Micah Parsons is basically being a punk ass bitch. Let's just put it as nice as we can. Yes, Cowboys, it's your turn now. Micah Parsons is the guy who's basically playing for practically peanuts right now because his contract's about to go up, and Jerry Jones apparently is either got his head too far up his own ass or his Viagra has worn off. This man does not have a boner to save his fucking life. Micah, for the fact that he's basically excited about this Cowboy season, I'm going to tell you how this Cowboy season is going to turn out. 8-8. You guys will be as relevant this season as basically my dog dragging their ass on my carpet. That's when it comes down to it when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys. Micah Parsons ain't going to break any records. Micah Parsons ain't going to do much of anything. He's probably going to spend most of his time pretty much on the rag this rest of this entire season. That's what I think about it. And Micah, if you happen to be listening, I don't care if you don't like it. I will clap back with you quicker than Stephen A. Smith's hairline.
Or well, let me tell you again, the telltale situation with the Cowboys is nobody's talking about him. Nobody.
That's right there.
On top of that, they violated my Raider rule.
Which
they drafted an offensive lineman out of the SEC. This kid, Tyler Booker, offensive guard, Alabama. How good was Alabama last year?
Was Alabama even relevant this year?
No, not really. They were clear in transition. They looked decent. I think they had one big signature win. But man, if you saw that squad in the bowl game that they had,
I did. I laughed my ass off at it every single moment. I did.
I mean, Nick Saban's catching checks now from ESPN. He had to be laughing. Like, I'm getting paid and I'm not having to deal with this crap.
That's a given. Yeah. And this is the biggest thing, is that we go into night 2 and we're trying our hardest. We're trying our hardest to sit here and actually come to some kind of relevancy when it comes to these guys. When it comes to them, it's one of those things of where Dallas needs to come to make peace with the fact that they are not America's team anymore. They have to come make peace with the fact that they are not relevant anymore. They have to come to the realization that when the name Cowboys comes out of people's mouths, it's a punchline. It's a joke. It's one of those things of where you just have to basically make peace with the fact that you aren't as good as you used to be. You cannot dig up Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, and Michael Irvin. You cannot get Michael Irvin out of whatever flipping trap house that he happens to be in to get him to basically make you guys relevant again. Jimmy Johnson is probably on drugs right now, basically still thinking in his head that he forgot that he used to coach Miami and he sucked. This is one of the seasons where Cowboys fans have to come to the realization that you guys are wasting your time. And you guys should just go ahead, do the smartest thing in the world, and maybe burn all that Cowboys BS. And you need proof. J.D. Vance was just at y'all facility, and that's your living proof of how bad your team sucks.
I will say one more thing about the Cowboys. And again, they're projected in the second round to draft a running back. Again, another unwritten rule that I have is never draft a player named Trayvon. Sorry, don't do it. That never worked out. The Raiders did it 3 times in the past 15 years. None of these guys ever turned out to be any good. So they're looking to draft he's not Trayvon, he's Travion Henderson out of Ohio State in the second round. Why not just bring back, what's his name, Elliott? He's still playing? He's still in the league? Zeke Elliott?
I'm not sure, but I can tell you at this very juncture, do you really want to bring back Zeke if you're a Cowboys? I mean, for nostalgia, that's one thing. But if you're trying to make yourselves relevant in this season, this upcoming season, where the very team that Chow kept saying over and over would not win a Super Bowl, won a Super Bowl, you kind of need to get a little bit better with your shit. Just put that out there.
Yeah, again, the Cowboys are going to show up. They're going to make a few headlines. People are going to laugh at them when they lose games early during the season and may not make the playoffs.
Is your window, I'm sorry, but is your monitor literally sitting here actually just hearing what we're saying? It just throws up the fucking team we're talking about?
No, I got
just
the windows
Cowboys
open.
on the screen. Yeah, Cowboys on the screen. And then we got the Giants.
I think I'm going through the whole NFC East.
I've come to this one Rasmus, and we're going to probably get ready to wrap this mess up because I am looking forward to tonight because I want to see exactly what the hell is going to happen. Now, my biggest thing on this is going to be what exactly is going to be the biggest headline of the night. If you tell me that Shedeur Sanders will drop to the third round, then the NFL is going to become the most unwatchable thing in my playlist this upcoming season. And that's with respect to Genty, respect to Ward, hell, respect to Holland, Holiday, everybody, especially the ones that are already there. This is what it's going to come out to for me. This is what it's going to come down to. If it makes that point where you don't have Shedeur Sanders going in the second round, then Roger Goodell needs to have the piss slapped out of him. And every NFL owner, and yes, this includes Tom Brady, needs to have the piss slapped out of him. Because the fact is that you have yourself a good football player. And you go leave him hanging. You go leave to the point where you go basically be like, no, we're not going to have him because of the fact that because we know his dad. Who gives a shit? When his dad was playing, it was entertaining.
Yep. I just took a gander at the Vegas books. There's a couple of them. Their odds for Sanders to be drafted number one, the first pick in the second round, are minus 150 to minus 170. So that's pretty damn certain. I clearly wouldn't bet against it. So all signs point to it happening. Again, but you have to bear in mind, it's the Cleveland Browns. Johnny Manziel, Baker Mayfield. What was that kid's name out of Nebraska some years ago? And of course, Deshaun Watson. Who the hell knows what they're going to decide to do? They might even go for what's that kid's name? Can't even think of it. But again, this makes way too much sense. I don't even think the Browns are that stupid. And they on the intelligence scale, when it comes to talent and drafting, I have a lot of good friends from Cleveland, and they've stopped shaking their heads. They've gone, they've gone through those stages of grief. They are now at the point of just acceptance. It is what it is. The Browns are always going to suck. Can we move them out of town so we get another franchise and try to start again? Because this current crew and that current ownership group, man. Mm-mm. So we'll be looking tonight. Like I said, it's coming up in the next few hours. I think that drama is gonna die pretty quickly, and we can actually move on to the rest of the draft in the second round. But like I said, the good news for Shedeur Sanders is he's likely to go to Cleveland. The bad news for Shedeur Sanders is he's likely to go to Cleveland. So it's a curse. I don't know what started the curse. I don't know what it's connected to.
No, the curse already pretty much sat here and did exactly what it was going to do. The curse already did what it was going to do, and we saw it last night. We saw it pretty much last night. We saw it last night. But today is a new day, as Shedeur would sit here and say it. Don, I know we butt heads a lot. I know we've had times where we butted heads, but this has been fun. This shit's been fun. This shit's been fucking epic. I love it.
I love talking football. I actually hate talking the other stuff. I mean, I'm not the guy you want.
That's why
I was like on every side of the question.
That's why I was like, dude, like I know you can't be mad at your Raiders. They actually made a good call.
No, I'm good.
But
I'm sitting back.
We will be having the Smash It show. We'll be going down tonight. I wanted to talk about this damn draft because, quite frankly, like everybody else, I was pissed. So we gonna have some fun with it tonight. We're gonna be talking WrestleMania. We're talking about that RKO out of nowhere. We're gonna be talking about this new mysterious faction involving Seth, Paul, and Braun. We're gonna be talking about that one. We're gonna talk about all the shit that happened in Vegas that didn't stay in Vegas.
One quick note on that, because it was in Vegas, didn't go. I did go to one WrestleMania. This is 18 years ago. I think my son was like 11 or 12. He was a big wrestling fan. I mean, we love baseball, but we really bonded around WWE. So I went in pocket, got plane flights, got hotel room, 2 tickets. We saw WrestleMania 23 because I still got the cap on it when it was in Detroit.
Nice.
I have had no other reason to go to Detroit than that. But it's a great show. It's always a great show.
I would be realistic on this one. I look forward to tonight's show just because of the fact that there's a chance that we'll probably have Joe. Most likely Reese will be there. Most likely Don Juan will be here as well. It just depends on how we go. We are going to be going at, 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific. And for all my central ones who apparently can't count, we're going to go at 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock. Just bear in mind Central Time Zone, since apparently I'll go ham about it.
I only have one question.
Yeah.
What time is what is that in Ukrainian time?
I'm gonna have to find that one out. Let me just check that real quick because for the sake of arguments, because I'm kind of curious.
And again, not to keep addressing the issue. I mean, I'm probably politically agnostic, even though I have a lot of opinions. So I'm scattering to all fields. I don't have any issue with, when you start telling me stuff that anybody.
I just share shit.
Yeah, I like it. I love what you do. It's what you think. It's not filtered through what's going to be acceptable. I don't want to offend anybody. Screw that.
Wait, Don. I'm gonna take a page out of Bubba Ray for a minute. Do you know who I am? I'm the guy that pisses off everybody at random. I can be breathing and it pisses off people. I can just smile and it pisses off people. Hell, I shaved my damn face and it pissed off people. Well, unless you ask my daughter, because apparently she wanted all the beard to be gone. Too bad it's going to be back by the time she gets home. But again, folks, we got ourselves a lot of shit to talk about tonight. And probably by the time I actually jump on, I might even jump on early just so that we can go hand in hand in sync with the draft. Because I know my boy Joe does not have a show tonight, which means I can just go ham a little early if I want to. And I just might. It just depends on how the day's going to go. However, Don, you are the guest. You got any last little words, last little hypes you want to build up there just for the sake of argument?
Well, look, I'm a draft geek. I mean, even when it wasn't on TV, I was listening on the radio in 1981 when the Raiders drafted running back out of USC, Marcus Allen. So I followed the draft. And again, it's always exciting. You love the tension, you love the intrigue and all the other crap. Because at the end of the day, none of it's really going to be all that earth-shattering. Some of these teams, some of these players are going to turn out to be good. Some of them that we thought would be good aren't going to be. Teams are going to get better. They're going to get worse. Deal with it. There are no guarantees in life.
I'm thinking more over under on the Shador chance because I'm pretty sure they're going to show up tonight. Now that all the big names have been snatched off the board, there's one name left, and I feel like that as crazy as Wisconsin is, and they are because my sister happens to be from Wisconsin, and she's already basically like I heard her a couple days ago. She was like, "Go Pack, go Pack!" That's how crazy my sister is. She is all about the Packers, and just hearing her say that one, and she put a smile on my face and warmed my heart because I miss my little sister like crazy. But as you pretty much know, we got Smash It coming. However, we also are going to be doing this again tonight. I want to send special thoughts, prayers, condolences to the fall of a man who basically we know about ALS, and I've done the Ice Bucket Challenge in the past. I want to send my special hearts out to the family of the man, the myth, the legend himself, former Chicago Bear, former eternal Four Horseman, former WCW star, former Hall of Famer, actually WWE Hall of Famer if I'm not mistaken, Steve Mungo McMichael, who tragically passed away at the beginning of this week. And I'm just going to put it as nice as I can. I'm going to find a Mongo clip that is going to work well for me. And one from his wrestling days, one from one of his NFL days. And quite frankly, I'm giving you this heads up, WB. I don't give a shit if you like it or not. I'm just going to say, as you saw in the intro, fuck you and have a nice day. Move it the hell on. We're going to have some fun tonight. On behalf of the smooth operator, the suave man himself, the Vegas vagina manipulator. And this was what his wife sat here and said. His wife said that. Don't. Let me just put it like that. We went to Vegas. I digress.
I already got the trademark.
I'm just telling you this right now that basically your wife's the one who told me this mess, so I'm going to be nice about it. Don Juan, this has been the captain, a.k.a. Hell Capitan, a.k.a. Capitan Ford. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight or this afternoon for most of you and this afternoon now for me and him. We're going to run it back tonight. I might do it a little bit early just because of the fact that the draft will be right there in the background. I kind of want to see who's going to have the balls to give the NFL the finger, especially most specifically Pickle Rick Jerry Jones, because we know for a fact that he wants Shador Sanders and he just wants to just lie to people about it. So, on behalf of Don Juan, Rockin' Reese, Joe Q, my homeboy OG, This has been a special edition of the Aftermath NFL Draft Edition. We bid y'all adieu. Goodbye. Good night. Have yourselves a fun one. And Gears and Beers Chicken and Grease. Mom, I'll call you in a minute. We'll see y'all later. The following is a presentation from Bleacher Brothers.
You're talking to the Rolex.
Diamond ring first.
Hit dealing. Woo. Wheeler dealing. Limousine right.
Bottles and bitches, believe me back in business. And the shit I be smoking is highly recommended. This for all of my niggas pushing the limit. My